Hey guys, let's talk about multitasking. What is multitasking? Well, according to Merriam-Webster, it's the performance of multiple tasks at one time. Sounds pretty ideal, right? I mean, think about how productive you can be if you study some Spanish while listening to a mathematics lecture while weaving a basket. You could save so much time. Instead of doing 3 tasks separately in 3 hours, prospectively you could finish all of them in 1 hour. Well, sadly, this ideal doesn't exist. The truth is, multitasking sucks. In fact, it's the worst possible way to finish tasks and sometimes the most perilous. But let's not trust me on this idea. Let me show you how inefficient your mind is at processing external stimuli. So for this little experiment, I want you to focus on this little tin ball, the story I'm about to tell, and I also want you to count from 0. To help you count, there will be a counter on screen. Let's start. There once was a boy named Ham. Somehow he loved eating Spam. Day in and day out he would just pig out until he would finally pass out. One day he met a witch. To be honest, she was quite the bitch. She would use her powers to make people cower and cackle even louder. Ham the man also couldn't stand her and so tried to lure her in. But that didn't work, and yet he smirked because he knew where to find her. He kicked down her door and she was slammed on the floor in anger unknown to man. With one big crash, the witch was smashed for Ham just ate too much Spam. The witch was conquered and Ham was honored for being the town's savior. But Ham was abashed and went back to finally enjoy his Spam. How was it? Let's ask you some questions. Which cup is the tinfoil in? What happened to the witch in the story? What number did the counter reach? Well, it's in this cup. The witch was smashed by Ham and the counter reached 38. How many correct did you get? The reason why this was so difficult is due to the amount of information presented to you. Although it may seem overwhelming, in real life, the amount of information present is almost infinitely greater. In 2008, around 3.6 zettabytes of information was consumed by Americans. A zettabyte is a 1 followed by 21 zeros. But how does the brain sift through this information? Yale professor David McCullough argues that the brain has a series of filters to weed out irrelevant information. The reason why this is necessary is due to humans' working memory or short-term memory capacity. Princeton researcher George Miller explains that the working memory can store roughly 7 units under optimal conditions. This essentially means that the mind can only focus on 7 ideas at the same time. MIT neuroscience Earl Miller explains that contrary to popular belief, the mind doesn't process information in parallel during multitasking, but rather switches between tasks rapidly. The reason is that similar tasks compete for the same resources in the brain, creating stress since it has to resolve these conflicts. The part of the brain that chooses what tasks to focus on is called the executive system. It works by helping us achieve goals by ignoring distractions. If we're reading a book, the system may prioritize visual information. Yet, what about multitaskers? Wouldn't they be better at multitasking since they're used to it? Actually, no. Researchers at Stanford found that multitaskers were bad at filtering irrelevant information from relevant due to their brains not knowing what subject to focus on, the result of the brain being trained to focus on a variety of tasks at the same time. In fact, Marilyn Weimer of Colorado State University compiled a list of other studies demonstrating the harmful effects of multitasking, all of which help decrease the individual's performances in each of the studies. Multitasking simply doesn't make sense. Switching between tasks is not only inefficient and laggy, but the time it takes to switch between tasks, albeit small, adds up. But if multitasking is so bad, why do we have the ability to multitask? University of Michigan researcher Daniel Weissman explains that multitasking may have resulted with humans needing to work together to hunt. Multitasking definitely helped with humans keeping track of the animals and working with their peers. Recently, however, we have become too confident in our ability to multitask And it may become even worse as we work to resolve the increasing amount of information that bombards us every day. Well, what are your thoughts about multitasking? Write about them below in the comments section. And thanks for watching.